Well, good evening, everybody. This is an update on the 5th of June as to where Bitcoin is and how we determine how to see where Bitcoin is going. So, as you can see in front of you, we just brought up just a normal Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to go through some things that I haven't told you, or I haven't been through with you. But the more times that you see this, the better it's going to be. So, we'll go with the first thing we're going to do is draw a trend line from the highest point where it was there, and we're going to go down. And I like to clip all the candles at the top to see where it breaks. So the idea with the trend line is you're following the trend, and as they say, trend is your friend. So the trend started here, as you can see, the 821 crossed here, and then came down. The trend tells us when it thinks it's going to change the direction. So again, the trend is your friend. And then what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to put in another trend line in here from the bottom all the way up to the top. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make sure I connect with every single one of those that are at the bottom there, and just keep it going till there. Okay, and I'm going to colour that in green because that is an up, basically. That's going up. So the way to use these trend lines is basically once it breaks through the trend line and closes, and the candle closes over there, then this is to signify that we're making a change and we're going to either go from a downtrend to an uptrend or vice versa. Now, what you're seeing in front of you here is also another way to look at is the trend changing with the lower highs and the higher lows here. So basically, what you're trying to do here is, as you can see, we have if I mark it for you, we have a high there, we have another high there, and another high there, and another high there, and another high there. We also have lows. We've got a low there, we've got a low there, and there, and there, and there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is when we say higher high or higher low, is we look at this when we say this is the high, as we can see from there, and then it comes all the way down to the low here. So that we mark that down as a low. And then the next one is another high, but it's lower than the previous high. So that is a lower high. And then it comes all the way down to here. So this is another low, but it's lower than the last low. So this is a lower low. And that's the way we keep going. We keep going. The high there, but it was lower. So that's a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high there, but then it breaks the chain and we go to a lower high, a higher low, because this was your last low and now it's up here. So now we know that the trend is changing, or it's starting to change, but we need confirmation, and the confirmation will come from breaking this trend line. So once it's gone through there and it's broken this trend line and the candle is actually closed there, that's when we kind of like say we've got double confirmation. We've got double confirmation that it is changing. So then it goes. So then you can go further with it. So you can say the next one, your high is around here, so it's a higher high. Your low is around here, so it's a higher low. So it's higher, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now it's changing. Lower high. We've got a lower high. So to confirm that, does it break through the trend line that you've broken? Yes, it does, and it also produces a lower low, which is a 100% bona fide change. So the other way to look at this is if it was a lower high and then it turned around and you got a higher high, then that means that we're staying on the same track, and then this this trend line would have to be moved. But because we've got a lower low, that means it's confirmation, it's double confirmation that we've gone through. We've got a lower high, we've gone through there, and we've even got a lower low. So now we know that we are in a downtrend from here. So what do you do from here? So what we tend to do is, let's get rid of that. Don't need that. So what we tend to do here is focus on what we've got here, and we do another trend line, and we try and get in as much data in as we can by looking at the candle tops there. I'll put red in there so we can see. So I would say your higher high is somewhere around about here, just to try and get as much data in there as possible. You don't have to be 100% accurate with it. It's just an indication of where things are going with Bitcoin. And as we can see, we are now going into a downtrend because we've got a lower low, a lower high, and I've put a lower low question mark there, but it's actually going to be a lower low because it is actually lower than that. At the end of the day, it could turn around and it could zoom back up there again, but we just put a question mark in there to say the candle hasn't actually closed yet. It is lower. Are we going to get a lower low? 90% probably are going to get a lower low here, and we just carry on with that. So the next thing that we look at when we're once we've done all that and we've got like double confirmation, you can probably just say, right, okay, we are going into a downtrend here. But another thing that we can do is look at what's called the 821. So the green line is the 8, the purple line is the 21 moving average. Generally, what you'll tend to find is, and if you look into TradingView and you look at past things and you look at these 821 lines, you'll see that where they actually cross is kind of a confirmation that you're changing your structure. So if we look at this here, from going from here, this particular one, let's put a marker there so you can see it. This particular cross here, it crossed down, so the green crossed down through the purple. So that means down, we're going down, so it's a downtrend. So as you can see, it never really crossed again up until about here, which was interesting because it crossed here and then immediately, a couple of days later, turned down and went through there again and then crossed here again. Okay, so as you can see, it crosses here. We're in a downtrend. We kind of already know we're in a downtrend because we've gone higher. We've gone from high to lower high, low to lower low. But then we've got that confirmation to say, yes, we are crossing. Oh, we are crossing there. So let's go down. We go down. We do a little bit of a funny thing here where it kind of fakes us out to think that it's going to go back out. And then it goes down again, and then it does cross over here. So the way to look at this is once it faked the cross here, you could see it was a million miles away from the actual trend line that was going on there. But at that particular point in time, I will move that back. In this particular point in time, we would never have had this big spike here. So what we would have been doing is be going, well, we're around about here because we wanted to touch this particular high here. We're touching that particular high here. So yeah, so then we come out, but we are quite far away, still far away from that particular thing, from that particular trend line. We are still producing a higher low, a lower high, and we are going to produce another lower low down here. So there is no real reason to change. The only real reason to change is if something does actually change, like going through the trend line, or these two lines crossing over. So the way to look at this is we put them all together. So we'll say, right, so the 821 has crossed up through the purple. We have got a lower high, but we've also gone through the actual trend line. So that's double confirmation. Now what you can do is wait for triple confirmation, which is, does a higher low get produced? And if that's so, yes, we're off. We're off to the races and we're going. What you can happen here is you can get a cross of the 821. You can get over the trend line, but then it fakes you out and then it will come back down again. So sometimes that can happen. But in this particular case, it didn't. It just carried on and carried on. Now, in 75% of the cases, if you go through this with the trend line, with the 821 crossing and doing your higher lows and lower highs, 75% of the time, you'll be right. And that is the basis of everything. But you could make that even better. You could make you could use another indicator to make it even better for you, to give you triple, quadruple confirmation. So in TradingView, you have something called relative strength index. What this basically is doing, it's basically telling you when something is oversold and overbought. So when it's down here, it is overbought. Sorry, oversold, and when it's up here, it's overbought. So generally, when it's oversold, that means that the prices will go up. When it's overbought, that means the prices will come down. So as you can see from here, from this line here, so it was a vertical line. Let's do a vertical line. It was oversold there, and it was overbought. We'll go there, okay? Because there was actually two areas there. So when we look at where that puts us in this area, we can see that it's telling us early that we were overbought there, but it came back up, and it tried to get over the trend line, but never made it. So as you can see, it kind of like faked itself out, came around, faked itself out, and then in the end, it came back to a low here, and never really went into the oversold bit, and then it came up, and then towards here, it's telling you that yeah, we're over. It's too much. We need to come down. So this is another indication. It's not the greatest indication. Sometimes it can tell you early, but once you get something like this, where it's told you it's gone, it's overbought or oversold, and you get the price breaking the trend line, and the change in the structure, which is going from a higher high to a lower high, is you're getting triple confirmation that something's going to happen. So from that as well, we can look at something else, which is called the MACD. The MACD gives a good indication of when things are, how can I put it, what strength buying and people are buying, and what strength people are selling at. Now, this particular MACD has two things. It has an orange line, which is more of a smoothed out line, and then a very quick line, which is the blue line, which is down here. So I will put that back up for you there, which is the blue line here, which goes up and down really quickly. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to say, right, so when the blue line crosses the orange line down, that's a signal that we are going to be going down in price. And again, conversely, when it's going up, that's a signal that it's going to go up. Now, again, we have got things where it does things like this, where it goes up and then straight back down again, up and straight back down again. Unfortunately, this is the way that this indicator works. As you can see, it's a big one there where it comes down and then comes back up again, and then you've got to get that in confluence with everything else that's going on in the in the price. So if we have a look at this and we say, right, so we're going to go around about here, we changed around about here, and now we've changed around about here as well. Okay, so we'll go back to the chart and we can see what's happening here. So this is saying it was going to go down around about here. You know, it had a little bit of a struggle there, but it was around about here. And this is where the 821 in this same area changed as well and then went down. This says it was going to go up from here, which is fine because it did go up, but it wasn't crossing the 821. It was around about here where it actually was crossing the 821 because it crossed there. But what it was kind of like saying is that there is buying pressure. It's just that the price didn't go that way. But there was more buying pressure as it went up here. And now it's saying we've got sell pressure. Sell pressure is coming in, and it's going to be close to a cross here, and we have crossed the trend line there. So you can kind of gather it all together, bring it all together with all those four indicators to say, yeah, okay, yes, we are going to go down, or we are going to go up. It is up to you how you interpret all these, but these indicators are here to help you figure out what is going on. So that's a big whistle stop tour of everything that's there. So what do we see in Bitcoin as of today? Well, as we can see, we've come down from selling, and now we've gone up. But now we've changed structure. We've gone to a lower high and a lower low and a lower high, and now hopefully another lower low, which is probably going to happen at this time of the night. So it's definitely on sell. The 821 looks like it has crossed or is going to cross, and when this candle closes, it will give us a better indication of what's happening. So at this moment in time, as we can see from this, it's going down, and it's going to go down for some time. This is on the daily. This is 1 day. It is one of the slower times that you can have on. If you go down to the 4 hour, the 4 hour is quicker. It will tell you in more detail what's going on within the day, but the daily will be more of a stronger indicator of what's actually happening. So when the 821 crosses, it usually means that something is going to happen, whereas in the 4 hour, when the 821 crosses, like as in here, it can fake out really quickly and bring you, and then you think it's going up and then it fakes out back down again. So there's a lot of movement within the 4 hours. Whereas with the daily, it will just give you a nice smooth way of looking at something and saying, right, it's going up or it's going down. Also, we can go to the weekly. The weekly will give us an even better indication and more better signal of what's going on. But as you can see, what happens is the crosses that happen in these cross like well late. So this was the down that we saw on the daily. Now we've put it into weekly format. It's going down, but it's crossing like well late for when we wanted it to, and it crossed up well late as well. We can also do this with monthly as well, so we can look at the monthly, and as you can see on the monthly chart, if I bring that better for you, you can see it's never crossed at all. So this is giving you a good idea of where Bitcoin is overall. So when you look at something on the daily, and the daily saying, "Oh well, it's going down," it's going down. Well, it might do. It might be going down, but actually, overall, Bitcoin is going up because on the monthly we haven't crossed over. When we go into a bear market, these two lines will cross over, just like it did here for this bear market here. the two lines crossed over to confirm that you are in a bear market, and away you go, basically. And then when they cross back over again, you're in the bull market. So as far as I'm concerned, myself, we are still in the bull market, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. When you look at what's going on the daily, it looks like you're going down and it's never going to stop. But really, it's okay. Bitcoin is fine at the moment. It's still in its bull market. It's still going. It's just cooling off, and it's just going to give a little bit of pullback before it goes up again. Now, this is one thing I need to touch with you about, is that emotions shouldn't come into this. It should just be what you read off the charts. It doesn't matter about what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter about what's going on in the news. It's just about what's in the charts. And you need to go through things like this to see how Bitcoin reacts, what it does when it pulls back, what happens, and how long it takes for it to get back into its normal routine of going up in a bull market or going down in a bear market. There are things that we need to teach about how Bitcoin looks overall and where we're expecting it to go, because if you go on the internet and you go to YouTube, you'll see lots of people saying, oh, I'm expecting 120, 130, 160. I mean, there's one guy that I follow, and he said like 200 to 300, and it's like, well, okay, brilliant. If it's going to 200 to 300, that's brilliant. But I'll be there to take it when it's going down, and buying when it's going up. And that's all we need to do, is just do that. So that's an overview. That's what's going on with Bitcoin at the moment. It looks like it's going down. It looks like it's gonna happen. I'm out now of my long, and I will go into a short once this candle is closed, and then it looks like it's a short for now. For how long, we don't know. Don't have a crystal ball. Don't know how long it's going to be. But this is how we work, how we do it, and we will go through what the RSI means, what the MACD means, and how we use it, because there's a lot more detail in that. We'll go through something called the Ichimoku cloud, which will give you another indication of what's going on. And then we'll go through how we do high highs, high lows in more detail, just to get you used to looking at something and saying, oh yeah, that's a high, that's a low, that's a higher high, and that's a higher low. Or if it changes, when to look at when it changes. So that's it. And hopefully we'll see you guys online, and you can have a look at this. This is being recorded, so you can look at it again, and you can just look at what's going on. But yeah, I'll be releasing other videos to show you what things mean and how we do it. Thanks.